Hey folks, Nathan here from the Star Wars Timeline Gold, the Star Wars Reports Rebels Roundtable, and Star Wars Beyond the Films, bringing you a look at another Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game item. We're looking at two items in this video and the next, and we're looking at something a little odd. These are not miniatures, this is an X-Wing miniatures game accessory. A playmat, in this case. Coming in this incredibly long, tube-looking thing. And you can only tell which playmat you're getting if you try to pick one of these up by flipping it until you get to this side that tells you which it is. In this case, this is the Death Star Assault playmat. Or by looking at the top. So bear that in mind. The other end shows you nothing. The other parts around the top, the sides, show you absolutely nothing here. Okay, so be careful. Now, you may recall that one of the things that I was running into is that I didn't really have the room for a 3x3 play surface. So I actually went and bought a piece of board, which I then painted and marked off an area for a play area. Gave it the X-Wing logo there. Nothing too fancy or anything, but marked it off to also give some sides to put cards on and whatnot during play. For someone who doesn't have a play surface that's big enough, that type of thing is one of the few routes you can actually take to play relatively easily. Now, I was hoping for that Starfield tile kit, that maybe if you put the tiles together on that they had announced at one point, you can make a nice flat surface like this, let it hang a tiny bit over the edge of your table or something, and you'd be fine to be able to play. That was not to be, however. They canceled them in favor of these playmats. And the playmats, don't get me wrong, look really nice. This is one of them. You'll notice my card table that this is on is not 3x3, so it hangs off a little bit on each side as I'm laying it out to show you here. No, the ships don't come with it. This is for scale. What you've got here on this playmat is a 3x3 playmat. You've got the Death Star with, of course, Yavin, and here's Yavin 4 there, right? So it's the approach to Yavin 4 very much like we see in A New Hope. From a size standpoint, this is a 3x3 scale playmat. This is the play area you would use for most scenarios of X-Wing. For scale, though, here, there's your gigantic Tantive 4, the Rebel Transport, the Millennium Falcon, and an X-Wing. Should give you a sense of size relative to what you're seeing here. Now, it's nice rubber. It's not super thick. It's relatively thin. Nice non-slide padding type stuff there on the bottom. It's not going to slide around on you as you're playing once you straighten it all out. It's a nice setup if you've already got a sizable play surface to use. You're turning something you already have that already works into something more Star Wars themed. Whereas if you don't have a play surface already ready to go, this isn't going to be all that great. For instance, for me, now that I use my dining room table as a workstation for teaching online from home, which is my career at this point, I've moved from teaching in a classroom to teaching completely online, which is awesome! I'm in a position where my dining room table isn't available for the reviews anymore. So I'm using the little card table in the other room where I've moved the home video library and everything. But what that means also is I can't just put my big homemade one with its little, little foam pads and stuff there on the bottom so it doesn't scratch the heck out of the table. I can't just stick that on this card table. It is heavy enough, it would probably break the frickin' thing. So if I'm going to play using this surface, using the standard size, I pretty much have to sit it on the floor and play from there. I can sit it on the floor, stick this on top of it, no big deal. It would cover up basically the area there of the square. Problem here is, it's just rubber. If I were to stick this on the floor, if that floor is carpeted, I've not created a playing area that's going to work because it's still going to have the smooshiness that carpet has depending on the type of carpet. Do not think of these playmats as a replacement for having a good surface area to play on. Think of them as just nice window dressing to make the area you've already got look cooler. That being said, thinking about it in terms of that function, how does this versatility compare to the price? For me, not in a way that's truly worth it. These playmats, again, 3x3 rubber, with a non-slide padding on the bottom. $40 each, retail. All right, so for this version of it, cool looking, $40. Your mileage will vary extremely. I'd say with this, of all the X-Wing products we've seen so far, except maybe the dice pack, this is the one that is the most questionable in terms of price versus use and whether or not I can recommend it. So use your better judgment on this. It's nice. It's a really good quality playmat. But that is all that it is. And yes, it does get stored by rolling up the rubber and sticking it back inside the tube, right? So it is not a hard surface to play on. For what it is, though, rather nice. For the price, for someone who doesn't tend to play miniatures games a lot and therefore does not have a lot of experience with these types of playmats, the price is pretty high. Compared to other customized playmats, For a licensed product, the price point is all right, but you probably could do better with some generic space playmats for a little bit cheaper if you're just going for something to make your surface look nicer.